Hello basketball fans, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking an in-depth look at the Indiana Fever's 2025 WNBA season. A campaign that started with high hopes but has quickly turned challenging. The Fever entered this season as one of the league's top contenders, boasting a star-studded roster anchored by the electrifying Caitlin Clark, the 2024 WNBA Rookie of the Year. But now, just a few games in, the team is facing a perfect storm of adversity. Caitlin Clark, the Fever's dynamic point guard and offensive catalyst, is sidelined with a left quadriceps strain that will keep her out for at least 2 weeks. Her absence alone is a huge blow, but the injury woes don't stop there. The Fever have been hit hard by a cascade of injuries, including the loss of backup point guard Sydney Colson and other key contributors, forcing players like Sophie Cunningham and Kelsey Mitchell to fill unfamiliar roles on the floor. As a result, the Fever have struggled to maintain their offensive rhythm and defensive intensity, dropping to a 2-4 record and enduring back-to-back losses, including a tough defeat to the struggling Connecticut Sun. Today, we'll break down what these injuries mean for the Fever's playoff aspirations, how the team is coping without their star, and what the road ahead looks like for this once promising squad. On May 26, 2025, the Indiana Fever officially announced that Caitlin Clark, the team's 2024 WNBA Rookie of the Year and their primary offensive engine, suffered a left quadriceps strain during their narrow 90-88 loss to the New York Liberty on May 24th. This injury is the first major setback in Clark's professional career, as she had never missed a game before, dating back to her high school days. The team expects her to be sidelined for at least 2 weeks, which means she will miss a critical early season stretch including games against the Washington Mystics, Connecticut Sun, and Chicago Sky, with a follow-up evaluation scheduled for June 9th. Clark's injury is a significant blow to the Fever because she functions as the team's primary playmaker and leading scorer, averaging 19 points, 9.3 assists, and 6 rebounds per game through the first 4 games of the season. Her ability to create offense and control the tempo is central to Indiana's game plan. Head coach Stephanie White has emphasized a cautious, long-term approach to Clark's recovery, prioritizing her health over rushing her back to avoid lingering issues that could impact the remainder of the season. White praised Clark's honesty in reporting the injury early, which allowed for prompt diagnosis and treatment, potentially preventing more severe complications. But Clark is not the only Fever player dealing with injury troubles. The team has also been hit hard by ailments to other guards, including Sydney Colson and Sophie Cunningham, which has further limited the team's rotation and disrupted on-court chemistry. These compounded injuries have forced the Fever to rely heavily on a shortened bench, making it difficult to maintain consistent offensive production and defensive intensity. Although Indiana had one of the WNBA's top 6 offenses earlier in the season, Clark's absence has exposed vulnerabilities, with the team struggling to find reliable scoring and playmaking options. Recent games have underscored these challenges, as the Fever have lost momentum and struggled to close out tight contests without their star guard. The injury situation has created a difficult puzzle for Coach White, who is trying to find a stable lineup and maintain competitiveness despite the depleted roster. The Fever's current 2-4 record reflects these struggles, and the team faces a tough schedule ahead. However, White remains optimistic that this early season adversity can serve as an opportunity for other players to step up and for the team to develop resilience as they await Clark's return. The Indiana Fever entered the 2025 WNBA season with a significantly revamped roster designed to push the franchise into genuine championship contention. Building around their young superstars, back-to-back WNBA Rookies of the Year, Caitlin Clark, 2024, and Aliyah Boston, 2023. The Fever made aggressive offseason moves to add veteran leadership and proven playoff experience. Among the most notable additions is 6-time All-Star and 2-time WNBA champion DeWanna Bonner, who brings a versatile scoring threat and invaluable mentorship to the young core. Alongside Bonner, the Fever also signed 3-time WNBA champion Natasha Howard and acquired guard Sophie Cunningham via a multi-team trade, further bolstering the team's defensive toughness and wing scoring. Returning veterans like Kelsey Mitchell and Sydney Colson round out a roster that blends youthful talent with seasoned savvy. This overhaul followed the Fever's breakthrough 2024 season, when they made the playoffs for the first time since 2016, signaling a turning point for the franchise. The 2025 roster, featuring a deep and balanced lineup, was widely viewed by analysts and fans as one of the most promising in the league, with the potential to make a deep postseason run or even contend for the championship. However, the current injury crisis threatens to derail this progress. The loss of Caitlin Clark to a left quadriceps strain, coupled with injuries to other key players, has severely tested the team's depth and chemistry. With Clark sidelined for at least 2 weeks, the Fever's front office and coaching staff are now forced to rely heavily on their bench players and adjust their strategies to stay competitive. Players like Sophie Cunningham, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aliyah Boston will need to elevate their roles, while the coaching staff under Stephanie White must find new ways to generate offense and maintain defensive intensity. Looking ahead, the Fever must emphasize defense and team cohesion to compensate for the offensive void left by Clark's absence. The team's medical and training staff will play a crucial role in managing player recoveries and preventing further injuries, ensuring the roster remains as healthy and competitive as possible. Fans and analysts alike are closely monitoring how the Fever adapt to these challenges, with many eager to see whether this talented and revamped team can maintain their playoff push despite the setbacks. The resilience and depth of this squad will be key factors in determining whether the Fever can sustain their momentum and fulfill the high expectations set for the 2025 season. Looking ahead, the Indiana Fever must place a strong emphasis on defense and team cohesion to help bridge the offensive gap left by Caitlin Clark's absence. Clark's dynamic playmaking and scoring ability are difficult to replace, so the Fever will need to rely on collective effort, tightening their defensive schemes and improving communication on the court to generate stops and create transition opportunities. Building chemistry among the remaining players will be crucial, as a unified team defense can compensate for lost offensive firepower and help maintain competitiveness during this challenging stretch. Equally important is the role of the Fever's medical and training staff in managing player recoveries and preventing further injuries. Basketball is an intensely physical sport that demands rapid changes of direction, jumping, and high-impact contact, all of which increase the risk of common injuries such as sprained ankles, knee ligament tears, and muscle strains. Effective injury prevention strategies, such as neuromuscular training programs, proper warm-up and cool-down routines, and the use of external supports like taping or bracing, are vital to keep players healthy throughout the grueling WNBA schedule. The Fever's sports medicine team will need to carefully monitor workload, ensure proper rehabilitation protocols, and implement preventative measures to avoid compounding the current injury crisis. This situation with the Fever reflects a broader trend in the WNBA this season, where injuries have become a widespread issue affecting multiple teams and star players. The league has faced challenges with injury tracking and management, highlighting the physical toll the sport takes on athletes and underscoring the importance of roster depth and robust health management systems. Teams with deeper benches and effective medical support are better positioned to weather these setbacks and sustain their playoff pushes. Fans and analysts are watching closely to see how the Fever adapt to these adversities. Their ability to maintain a playoff push despite the setbacks will depend not only on individual player performances but also on strategic adjustments, team resilience, and the effectiveness of their injury prevention and recovery efforts. The Fever's current plight serves as a microcosm of the WNBA's ongoing battle with injuries and the critical balance between player health and competitive success.